Well, thank you for listening to Referee Radio, Crown Ref's newest interactive show, exclusively on the Clubhouse app, where we hear from some of the members of the Crown Ref's audience to share some stories from your season, discuss some scenarios from your games, and also the live Q&A component about any topics that you want to improve on. I'm joined by about 5 refs today: Pedro, Anthony, Carmela, Tyler. Thanks for joining us. Wanted to start with Carmela. She just got some great news. She's been on the couch, not reffing for a long time, and she just got word that she's back out there. So Carmela, congrats, and tell us what's going on in New Mexico.
Yeah, thank you. We just got word that our district here in Albuquerque, New Mexico can now have a season. So I'm pretty excited about that.
So when are you starting?
Basketball will be at the end of March, and then soccer, I actually, even though it's local, I have my first soccer game this Saturday.
That's got to be exciting. How you feeling about that?
I'm really excited getting back out on the pitch.
On the pitch. Yeah, I mean, listen, I know we've been talking about gratitude a lot during this downtime, but you know, when I first stepped on the court, February 6th was my first game. I was running as fast as I could. I had just a new kind of bounce and hop in my step, which is really what I should have always done. Not to say I lacked it, but I was just hustling more, just running more, just showed a little bit more spark and, you know, gratitude and gratefulness being back out there. So hopefully you guys are all leading with that in your games, and it's a nice little energy boost.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, like you said, it's not like different before where, you know, now we're leading with, you know, more pep in our step, but it's just knowing that news that now we can have a season is just, it's really exciting, and I look forward to it.
Finally get to put all the content that you've been learning to use, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Pedro, how's it going, man? Talk to me about your games. I know you've been busy up in Massachusetts lately. What's going on?
Yeah, man, it's good. Things have slowed down quite a bit. Regular high school season's is over, so it's more prep school now. That started their seasons late, so it's getting those sprinkled into our schedule here and there. It's kind of a bummer. I was working, you know, 6-7 days a week sometimes. More than 2 days off consecutively was rare for January and February. So it's kind of sad, you know, to be now slowing down. It's like, you know, feed me. I'm hungry. I want more.
All right, but there's no bummers and there's no being sad, Pedro. I'm not going to allow you to be sad. I'm going to pick you up and pull you out of that sad state and make you look forward to something else.
Yeah, for sure.
That's only a choice. That's only an option. You're just choosing to be sad. I understand. We love reffing every night. And when it goes away, yeah, we want it back, but we got to do that the mindset shift into thinking positive, right? Always looking into the positive. So you have any plays that stand out you want to talk about recently?
Yeah. I actually had one in mind. I was reviewing tape the other day, and it was one of those like, could I have had a more patient whistle? And you know, basically, players driving to the basket. As he's going, he takes his first initial step. He basically gets sandwiched by 2 defenders. One defender makes illegal contact. I call it because I didn't really think he could play through it. You know, after viewing it on video, he actually takes his second step and goes in for the layup and makes it. And I'm like, ooh, you know, it was one of those, you know, could I have had a more patient whistle? And, you know, it's in hindsight, yeah, I guess I could have, but in that moment, I didn't think he was going to make it through both those defenders. So
now, when you first described the play, you said the player from behind gave illegal contact, right? You mentioned something about illegal contact?
No, it was like he got sandwiched.
Oh, he got sandwiched.
Both defenders. Yeah, okay. He got sandwiched. And then one of the defenders was the one who made the illegal contact.
Well, that's what I wanted to touch on. It's not illegal contact because you didn't have a whistle.
Okay.
Right? I mean, did you call it a foul?
Yeah, I did.
You did?
I did, yeah. As soon as he,
but my point was you wanted to let it play on, right?
I thought I could have, but when watching it in tape in hindsight, you know, just like, yeah, I probably could have let it go.
So just going back to that, you know, it's not illegal contact then. I know you called it illegal contact on the play, but let's not label it illegal contact on something that you want to be more patient on, right?
Okay.
So we just gotta lengthen these plays as much as possible. Remember, start, develop, finish, decide. Let the movie end. Let the movie end. All right. We need to stretch out and add a little bit more time. I know we feel rushed on the spot, but going back and looking on it, you guys have more time than you think you do. I know we react to the contact, but give it an extra second and see what the contact does. Think about the word absorbed. How is the contact being absorbed? If they can handle it and play through it, play on. But those plays are tough. That gets back into pain tolerance, filtering incidental contact from illegal contact. Did you guys remember that post I just put up about drawing a line in the sand?
Yes, I did.
Just thought that was a really basic and simple way to look at judging a play. You're letting incidental contact ride as much as you can until it touches that line, and you're the one who determines that line. So just try to let plays play on as much as you can if it's just incidental contact. Coaches always talk about contact. There's contact. That was contact. Ref, there wasn't any contact there? Oh, yes, coach. I had incidental contact. I didn't have any illegal contact. What did you see? Everybody's, all that's like a buzzword, contact. But nobody knows except officials that there's two types of contact, illegal and incidental, and that's what we're ruling on all game long. We make hundreds of decisions probably every night on that. Anything else, Pedro, before we move on?
No, that's all I got right now.
All right. Ant, talk to me about your off season. How's everything going? You back working any games?
Holy, what's up, man? I haven't put on my ref shirt since August. To be honest, but I got a game tomorrow.
Good for you.
Excited about it. Just preparing.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long off season.
Yep.
Definitely listen to the content.
Appreciate that.
Can.
Yep.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited.
That's great. You don't have to say where you're at, but you got a high school game?
Yeah. I'm at B is playing tomorrow, so should be good. I'm excited.
That's cool.
It's like that first day of school again.
It really is. Yeah. So you were able to work games in August. You did some. Oh, you were working at illegal league in Queens, right?
Yeah, we were doing that summer league outside. Outside. It was good.
That was good to see.
It was some good ball. A lot of Queens people came together to play a little men's open, college guys, and we did a little high school stuff. It was good. It was good summer. It was good summer ball, but you get itching. You take that little break from like September to October, and then you're starting to get ready in November, and then you know how it's been in New York. Everything's kind of dead over here, and you're trying to find games, and there's nothing. It's been a lot. It's definitely a weird experience.
Yeah.
Being that I've been doing this now, it's my 13th or 14th year.
Wow.
That's the first time that you ever have like a lull in the action in the wintertime. You kind of get lost when you try to find things to entertain your time when you're usually on a court somewhere. So
true. So what are you kind of telling yourself going into this first game? Self-talk? What are you looking to work on?
Definitely, just to get back into the pace of the game, like I said, it's been a while, so I don't think any level is going to catch me a little off guard now. It's going to be a little quicker than I remember. And, just try to slow it down, get up and down the court, trying to stay in shape. And, that's definitely going to be different. No matter how much time you spend in the gym, that first time on the court, afterwards, you're going to be, oh, man, I forgot those hamstrings were there, those quads were there. You feel a little bit. So, I'm just excited to get back. It's been a long time coming.
Happy for you. Definitely. I was sore after my first game because you haven't, the college running in a real game just different than rec. You're going to run faster in a real game. Definitely was sore those next few games, but being sore, if you're sore today, that means you're strong tomorrow. Hey.
Absolutely. And if you're sore tomorrow, that means you did a good job getting up and down the court. So that's always a good thing too.
Very good. Very good. Well, have a great game and look forward to hearing how you do. Tyler, want to see what's going on with you. I know you're down at Texas A&M University with my boy Ryan, although Ryan is not on this call today. He must be in class. What's going on with you, sir?
Nothing much. We just kind of finished up the harder playoff run here, and we're fortunate that we've pretty much had a normal season other than tournaments. We finished. They're starting girls state semifinals and boys regional. Some guys are finished up regional semifinals. Most of them are regional finals. I was fortunate to work a boys regional semi the other night and hoping to get another assignment before the season ends. But other than that, play-wise, we had a pretty tough game the other day. It was two high schools that are 5 miles apart, two smaller towns, so everybody knows everyone. They actually delayed the start time of our game 15 minutes to allow everybody in the gym.
Everyone's allowed in the gym in Texas. Good for you guys.
And so it was pretty crazy, but it was a tie ball game with like 10 seconds left. We have the ball in line. I'm administering the ball, and they run a kid through the short corner right in front of me and kind of almost not hand it off, but I mean, they're close. And he steps in, they toss in the ball, and he goes right to the basket. And so as soon as the play happens, the defender that's guarding the inbounder, he's got his back to the play, but he tries to like defend the play, so I'm blocked out by him, and the inbounder immediately steps in front of me. So I see the start of the play and I see the finish of the play, and I'm like, I know that guy got fouled, but there's no way that I'm guessing and putting a whistle on this. And fortunately, my partner, he was C, he's a men's Division I official. He came and got it, and, we got the play right. But prior to that as well, we'd had the coach on that, and we were talking earlier about the incidental and illegal contact, and I exactly explained that to a coach earlier in the game. The team that they were playing was doing a very good job of staying legal vertically, and his team was not doing a very good job of it. They would swing arms, slap at the ball, and a lot of times they would not get the ball. And so I was trying to explain to him the difference between illegal contact and incidental contact. And I said, Coach, theirs is legal, so that he's jumping straight up with your player in his legal guarded position.
Good.
I said, your guys are losing their legal guard position when they bring their arms down and go for the ball.
Good.
And so just kind of used a little verbal judo as well on him.
Yeah, works every time. It sounds like you delivered it perfectly. I'm happy you didn't guess on that last play. It takes a lot of guts when we kind of think, oh, it could be a foul, but it's such a crucial moment in the game that we can't have any errors, and we got to be 1,000%. Remember, don't blow. If you don't know, don't blow. You got to be 1,000% to blow your whistle. If you just take that with you and into every possession and not worry if you miss something. Remember, this is where partner trust comes in, right? You weren't 100%. Tyler, your partner had a good look, came in, made the correct call. The correct official made the correct call in the correct position, sounds like. So that's a good job by you having that patience and trust.
Yeah, that's one thing that I've really worked on probably the last 2 years is the one, working with coaches, just because being young, you know how it is with coaches, it can be tough. And then 2, trusting partners and having a very patient whistle.
Tell me about some tough experiences with coaches that you've had. I want to hear more about it. You do a nice job explaining it.
So last week I explained one to you, but I think it'd be good. So obviously in Texas, we have a bunch of rural small towns, and I'm from a high school where we're small towns, so we play a lot of the same schools and stuff like that. Well, I've been out of high school now for 6 years, and so the coach at one high school, we played him a couple times, and so now I'm officiating too, and I've gotten to know him. I guess not really, but built a relationship with him on the court, and so he knows who I am. So I had one of their playoff games, and the other coach, when I walked in, we walked through the gym. We got there. They're standing there, both of them. I give them both, hey, how are y'all? I introduced myself to the other coach. Well, then we get into the game, and we have had anything. We're smooth going, and a player shoots the ball after the whistle after I told him not to. So I asked him to get the ball for us, and the coach yells, "That's what they get paid to do. Don't you get that ball?" I'm like, and this is a big playoff game, so I'm like, this is the first thing that he said anything like that. Normally, that would be an automatic technical, but in the moment of the game, I knew that.
I don't know if it'd be an automatic tech if he just says, "Don't," that's what they get.
Well,
paid.
He said it pretty loud though, and
Understood.
the crowd reacted. So, and
Okay.
he'd already came on the court enough to where we had to get him back one time.
Yeah.
And so it was borderline regular season where you might get him.
Mm-hmm.
And so player doesn't get the ball. So I run down and I said, "Coach," and at the moment, it just caught me off guard. It threw me off I should have given a warning for delay of game to his team.
Yep.
And so then we come down and he and I said, "Coach, let me explain to you, this is what happened. He shot the ball after I told him not to. I said, instead of giving him a delay of game, I said, I just asked him to pick the ball up for me." And then before I could even finish, he goes, "See, I knew this was going to happen. You're an East Chambers boy." So the team that was playing, they used to be in our district. They weren't in the district when I was in there, but they were in the district this year. I could care less who's in what district or not. I'm not in school anymore. I'm just here to call basketball. And so I stopped the game and gave him a warning, and so then he kind of settled down the rest of the game.
Yeah, that's a personal comment that he made at you. A few personal comments. He shouldn't be talking about what we get paid to do. That's inappropriate. We wouldn't do that to him. And then the second comment as well. But that's a good warning. I recently was talking about making our warnings in high school loud, because coaches are loud with us all the time, right? They're always yelling and shouting and having a big volume, right? And showing authority. We are the authority of the game, so we need to show more authority than them. So for the high school warning, make your warnings loud. I blow my whistle literally 4 to 10 times. I know 10 sounds like a lot, but when you're blowing it rapidly, it lasts a few seconds, not even. But it's just like a big awakening to the game. Like, whoa, whoa, whoa. This referee came in hot, but it was I'm not necessarily meet fire with fire, but there's certain moments we need to show a little bit more urgency with coaches. I know I have many different approaches with coaches. Just depends on how they're coming at us. I have a very soft approach. Coach, I'm very approachable if you have a question, but I can't have you yelling at me from across the court. That would be an example of a soft approach. And then there's the high school warning. Dude, coach, just to get in his attention and then delivering the message, but making it a real big thing. And in that moment, the coach knows the game is not moving on until the referee is done communicating what they have to do. So I was given one the other day, and I could kind of sense that the coach felt like he was being put on the spot and then kind of went back on his heels a little bit. I liked seeing that because I know that told me that the warning was effective. That makes sense, you guys?
I agree. I got the sense from the coach that he was just trying to, get one on me and try to get his, finger on me to where he felt like he could, get to me during the game and maybe get a call or two, you know what I'm saying? Intimidate me some.
Yep. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to manipulate your thoughts into calling the game into the way he sees it, because he's emotionally invested in the outcome of the game, obviously. But this has become a real issue with officiating. You hear some people talking about it, but I've really made it a mission to continue to put out this type of content and respectfully call out coaches and their behavior because no one else is doing it. And everyone else is kicking referees when they're down. So I've decided I'm going to be a voice and use my platform as a way to try to impact that. And, you know, I can only do it by having more and more thoughtful conversations, collaborating with coaches and putting out my information, and hopefully it reaches them. You know, it's funny. I had a coach who we did a lot live from the locker room, volume 1. And we were speaking about that coach after the game, never using his name or the team. So there's no way he would know. But I wound up giving him a warning. And then we spoke about it on the podcast. And then I posted it the next day to let everybody know the episode was out. And he hopped in on the comments and said, "Thanks for reffing the game yesterday. Great episode." So I'm like, that's funny. I like that he listened. I don't care that he listened. He needs to listen. He needs to hear what I'm putting out, because I'm not putting it specifically about him. But listen, we need a voice. Officials have been voiceless for a long, long time, and it's been a bad thing. It hasn't been a good thing. It's been a bad thing. So I'm trying to change that a little bit. You guys like that he listened to the podcast?
Yeah, that's pretty funny, man. That's great, though. I mean, he got the message without you directly giving it to him, you know? So.
Yeah, and now that word is kind of starting to go around the coaches circle, if it hasn't already. Like, and again, I'm not using this to my advantage, but maybe they think twice about screaming at me from across the court the next time, because they know I might talk about them in a live from the locker room in a positive way, though, for only for training purposes. Carmela, anything else on your mind before you start your season? What topics you want to talk about?
Well, I'm trying to this season. A few of my goals are to, be better verbiage with coaches, and then slowing the game down as far as my my foul reporting. I had a game last year where it was a 3-point game in the late third quarter, and I gave a technical. The play was that White shot a 3-pointer. Their post player got the rebound, went back up with it. She was fouled, and I missed it. And I knew I missed it, and I was going to give her kind of like a nonverbal look, like, "Hey, I missed that call," and the ball went out of bounds. But before I can give her a look, she kind of yelled out loud, pretty big cuss word. And, if it was quiet, I would have warned her, but she said it to where, the bleachers up top could hear us. So I gave her a tee, and the coach was calm. He knew what she said, and he, asked me, "I want to talk to you." And I said, "Okay, coach, let me get this report first. Let me report it first." So after I reported, I went to talk to him, and we talked about what happened. I'm like, "Coach, she did get fouled, and I had missed that." And, before I could, just kind of give her that nonverbal communication, "Hey, I missed it," she said the cuss word. And he's like, "No doubt she deserved that technical. But if you would have called that foul, that never would have happened." And I think like situations like that, I want to get better at, communicating with coaches. I kind of didn't know what to say besides, telling them, you're right, I missed that, but we're moving on. And that's, all I said. But I mean, he wasn't yelling at me. He wasn't, mad because he knew she deserved that technical. But again, he went with if you would have called it, that never would have happened. You
want to have the ammo to be able to immediately respond to anything that they say to us, right? And that's good. That's good. Let's rewind a little bit. Did she use the F word?
She did.
Okay, that's a technical foul, regardless if she says it loud or quiet.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
Let's just establish that from the get-go, especially in high school. Players are not allowed to curse at us, not even the S word either. I mean, that's a little bit more innocent. It could be used a little bit more innocently.
Yeah.
F word, you can't use that innocent. It's sorry, girl. All right. As far as the coach, I would respond and I would say, "Coach, that's a great point you made, but we're going to miss calls. just like players are going to miss shots and we need to move on. We need to move on with the game effectively. And your player can't react like that. Is that fair? Now I pose the question back at him. I acknowledge that, yeah, you're right. If I would have got the call correct, she wouldn't have done that. But this is the game of basketball. We miss plays and we got to move on. It's not an excuse for poor sportsmanship.
Okay.
See, I'm playing offense on the coach now. I find offense in many situations. Even when I make a mistake, I find offense.
Yeah, and we talked about this earlier in one of the calls, how I wanted to get, have better offense, with the coaches, because I know I have the defense. It's just that offense, getting that offense, talk with coaches. And, I allow them to, talk to me to, I allow them to be heard, because I know coaches want to be heard. But at the same time, like you said, I need to find that, offense and that way to talk back to them about, the correct way, so to speak.
Let's practice. Ready? Carmela, how is that a foul?
Coach, that was illegal contact. And so I called it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, you have some good elements there.
Yeah.
Again, don't get right into your spiel. Use the coach. Anytime they're shouting or you, whoa, coach, that brings them back down. Coach, I had blue 24 creating illegal contact moving forward into the offensive player. What did you see? So I want you to lead here. 3 elements to this approach, right? Yeah. There's the attention grab. Coach. Whoa. Hey. Whatever you want to say, just repeat it. Then get into your rule-based explanation. Coach, I had the defender establishing a legal guarding position and the offense went to and through the chest. Tell me, what did you see? Now I gave a rule-based explanation. Now I'm playing offense additionally by asking a question. I just showed my expertise. Now you speak, coach. Tell me what you saw. Buddy. I'm not going to say buddy, but do you see how I just reversed the dialogue?
Yes.
Carmela, that was a block. Why did you call it a charge?
Coach. The defender was not in legal guarding position, and her torso was not faced in the to the offense person, to the offender.
Yeah, remember, less is more too. So when you get put on the spot, try to think of the best one-line answer. Don't get into a whole spiel about explaining the play and what this player did. Too much. Short stories, quick short stories. I want you to give a loaded line, loaded line. Defender was in legal and go right to legal guarding position. Come out with a strong buzzword like that. I had the legal guarding position, offensive initiated contact, verticality. Hit on those buzzwords. Okay. This is good. Let's role play. What else do you guys have that coaches say? There's only 10 things that they say, 7 to 10 things that they say worded differently. So if we can just get common stock responses for these common things that they say, then we're going to have that automatic reply. Christian, welcome. Give me some common things that coaches say to you. What is one thing that a coach yelled at you recently?
I wouldn't say this is common, but I think this is going to be helpful. It was a bang situation where a ball handler was going up the court and the ball was stolen by the defender in front of him by half court, and I was trail, so I was right there next to it. I didn't see any contact except when the ball was stolen, both players' knees hit each other. So, ouch. Yeah. And I'm learning about the importance of when there's lower body contact. Maybe it's best to take care of the situation and maybe blow the whistle. But at that moment, I didn't watch Crown refs. I didn't know about all these tips. But this was...
You were asleep back then.
Yeah. This was a clear steal. After the ball was stolen, both players' legs hit each other. And then so the the player who caused the offensive player who lost the ball, he was actually hurt. He fell on the ground, and then the other team like made a layup, and then I blew my whistle to check on the play. My timeout. And then I looked over at the coach, and I said, "Coach, your player's hurt." He's walking towards the court, and he goes off. He goes, "You just gonna sit there and watch my players get effing hurt?" And then he was walking towards me too to check on his player. And I think all I said was like, "I didn't see anything, coach. Come check on your player." And he kind of just waved. He did everything. He waved me off too.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went to go check on his player.
Oh, I guess he was really concerned about his player.
Right. And then he went to go check on his player. So you have me just standing there awkwardly, basically, after I got cursed out. And after he waves me off, I'm still just standing there. And I'm like, if do I go back and forth with him? Or if I do go back and forth with him, will that make me less professional? Like, I really wanted to say, yo, chill the I didn't see nothing. Come take care of your player. But then I felt like, man, if I would have talked like that, it wouldn't have helped.
Well, a couple of things here. Number one, don't talk to a coach unless they're in their box. Number two, on plays where a player is hurt, get out of the way. Get out of Dodge. Because what is a coach doing? He's mad at you for getting your player hurt. He thinks you assaulted your player. And you're standing right there. So, of course, he's going to come vent. I've been in that spot. It's an uncomfortable place to have a conversation, and it shouldn't exist. So next time a player gets hurt, just go to the opposite end of the court and don't even look at the coach. Like, I'm not saying have your back to them, but try to ignore what's going on, because we're not addressing the coach when they come out on the court like that. Because then guess what happens? I mean, you got to experience it. The coach is just pretty much teeing off on you that you got the player hurt, spitting out unsportsmanlike conduct or words. And we're almost in a position where we're handcuffed just because we're in that. We shouldn't be there. We shouldn't really even be having that conversation or allowing that conversation to happen.
Oh yeah. Thank you. I'll definitely step away. Thank you.
And listen, if a coach comes out to get his player who's injured off the court and he yells out unsportsmanlike words, it's a technical foul. I'm sorry. It can happen. It could happen now. I know you're a little upset because your boy is hurt, but you're not that upset because you came out to argue first instead of going to see if he was okay.
True.
What else? So yeah, like I was saying before, coaches only say a few things. They'll talk about foul count. The fouls are 6-4. What do we say when a coach mentions a foul count?
That's happened to me plenty of times. I usually just say, Coach, I'm not looking at the foul counts. It's a competitive game. I'm looking out for both teams. I just keep it like that.
Wrong answer. We have
questions on?
What'd you say?
Do we ask them what plays they have questions on?
After we lay down the law.
Okay.
It's unsportsmanlike to ask about the foul count. Therefore, it's not allowed. Therefore, once they do it, that's an opportunity to play offense. Ref, the fouls are 6-4. Whoa, coach. I'm very aware of the time and score and foul count, but that's the last time we're going to talk about the scoreboard. Do you have any questions about a play?
What about calling it both ways if coaches tell you that?
I'm addressing that. Whoa. Call it both ways. Coach, you're basically questioning my integrity, and that's not going to be tolerated. Please don't tell me to call it both ways. That's what I'm brought here to do. That's obvious. Offense. That's unsportsmanlike conduct. You basically call me a cheater. You indirectly, in a low key, in a nice way, call me a cheater. So I'm not allowing that to stick. That's an opportunity to play offense, to run the conversation. If we don't run it, then they're going to run it. What we permit, we promote. So foul count is something that we have an automatic response to. So Christian, change that now. Automatic response. Coach, I'm aware of the time, score, foul count. It's the last time we're talking about the scoreboard. It's unsportsmanlike to talk about that. I got way too much integrity. I'll say a line like that. What else? What are some common things coaches say, Pedro?
I don't know if it's common, but I had it the other day. Well, a couple weeks ago, a playoff game, and two rivalry teams kind of chirping back and forth, and in the environment we're in right now, with mask on and stuff, you can't see it. I mean, you might hear it inside your ear, but you can't point out to who it is. And we had stopped the game, and we had talked about a pregame with both teams, like because I had the game earlier this season as well, so kind of already knew what I was walking into. So. It was something that I mentioned to both coaches, the coach, the assistant coaches, my partner, and we had said that no trash talking, and the coach yelling at me like, "Hey, they're yelling at they're talking to my players, they're chirping at my players. You said you were going to take care of this beginning of the game," and I'm like, "Coach, I can't see it. I can't see it with the mask on, and to me, it's almost irrelevant at that point, like." It hasn't escalated. We're calling the calls the way we should be. So, if there's chirping that we're not seeing or we're hearing, how can I call it?
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those where he's just chirping to chirp, but you just try to address it as how you're calling it. With players with masks on, how am I to know? I don't even know how he knows.
Mm-hmm.
Which player, which player, coach, which player? Please let me know, because I can't see it,
Yeah.
So we're not out there looking for people to trash talking. We're looking to officiate the game and the actions that are happening. But in the environment where there's kids with masks on, it's very difficult.
Sounds like you explained it well. Yeah, it's tough to, like you said, tough to see what they're saying. Be 100% about that. He's probably just spamming you. He's just sending you junk mail.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No doubt.
Tell you, I'm really running with this new junk mail, spam, fake news way of describing what the coaches say to us. I think it's on point, accurate.
Yeah, no, and I think when you go back and listen to it too, like you replay it in your head, you're like, that's complete BS. There's just no way around it. Like you thought, it's just they're trying to get an edge any way they can, and that's what they do. But we can't allow that line of respect to be crossed in their attempt.
They're like those Facebook bots that hop in your instant messenger and send you spam. I got about 1,000 of them trying to sell me sports apparel. They think I'm a coach who runs a bunch of teams. I get sold on like sports apparel every day. They're good.
Wow.
They're good. They know how to find you. One thing I just wanted to talk about before we go is the N1. We hear N1 all the time by players. N1. It's part of the culture. It's part of just. It's lost its true meaning, right? Definition of an N1 is when a player scores a goal and gets fouled and is rewarded one additional shot and then makes that shot. That's an N1. But we have players yelling it on made baskets with no fouls. We have players yelling it on missed field goal attempts. N1. You missed a shot, you yelled N1. So, it doesn't bother me, but if a player is like screaming it and does it more than once, I'm going to address them and say, all right, it's not an N1. I want you to scream N1 when you actually get an N1. That's the right time to do it. But I've been noticing, I think they just gave a tech in the NBA for an N1. But we also got to know the context. Before, I'm sure they just ejected Montrezl Harrell. I'm sure he said a bunch of things prior to him screaming N1. N1 has been a low-key, indirect way of taunting the official. Let's be honest. You're screaming N1 at the ref, but you're screaming it in front of a crowd So it gets like we lose focus on who it's intended for. It's intended for us, but everyone else gets to hear it because of that. So if a player is being a jerk throughout the game and we speak to him, next thing you know, he screams out N1, then that's a technical foul. So, I know there's a lot of fans that were up in arms about how do you give a tech for yelling N1, but they refuse to look at the history of the game, what led up to that, what the referee has said to that player in order to kind of diffuse the situation. Thoughts on the N1?
I had a situation like that last year. I had a player not only yelling N1, but whenever he blocked something, he kept saying, "Get that out of here." And I kind of looked at him and I nodded my head. I'm like, "Don't say that." And I warned him a couple times, and I even told the coach, can you tell your player to, stop doing this? And he's like, "Yeah, I got you." And it continued again. And so I finally gave him the technical. And then I told the coach, what the technical was. And he's like, "Why do you give him a technical on that? That's a basketball play. That's how kids play nowadays." And he's like, "You're the first official this season to do something like that."
Trying to make you feel bad?
I don't know what he was trying to do. And I'm just like, okay. I was like, I warned him and I told you to, keep it in check, and he didn't do it. And that's why I gave him technical.
I've had some experience coaching. And I don't say anything to the refs, but if I was like an intense high school coach and I had a female on my game, I wouldn't say anything to her. I would just feel like a jerk. I don't know. Is that just me? Is that just me?
Because you're a gentleman. You're a gentleman.
Yeah, there's something about being an old man, and Carmela, he's probably twice your age. He could probably be your father, and just be.
I coached too. Before I became an official, this year or last year, I coached for 7 years. I was assistant varsity, so I know these coaches, and I've known him for quite some time, like almost my whole coaching career. And I'm not saying we're buddy, but I told him, what's, going to happen. And he still, I don't know if he just chose to do selective hearing or what, but he still, got mad at me because I gave him a technical.
Good. You got mad at him.
Carmela, do you think you would approach that situation the same today?
If I would, what?
Do you think you would approach that situation the same today?
Yes. Yeah. It's like, Paul said, it's like they're, calling us out, saying, we're not calling that foul, and, the whole crowd could hear it. And it was a loud gym, and he kept just, saying N1 or "Get that out of here." And, I warned him multiple times.
Well, that's a problem. That's a problem, warning him multiple times.
Yeah. Okay.
So like the first time that he says, "Get that ish out of there," I'm going right up to him and I'm saying, "Sir, do me a favor. Act like you've blocked a shot before." And hopefully that will make him feel not bad, but say, oh, okay, ref's watching. Let me not do that again. Hopefully they say that, right? Because the next time they do that, it's a technical foul. Now, I like how you went over to the coach. First time you talk to a player and warn him, let's try to get to the coach as a courtesy. This is very key here, guys. When we go to the coach as a courtesy, we are not going there so the coach can bring up a new topic to complain about. That's what happens a lot of the times when we go as a courtesy. I'm not going to go up there as a courtesy if I know you're going to flip the conversation around. But if you try doing that, I'm going to make sure we get back to the reason why I came. No, coach, I'm not here to listen to you about any other plays. I came here as a courtesy to let you know that you need to speak to your player or I'm going to have to handle him. Is that fair? Thank you. I'm going to get back to the game now. Then maybe if he's nice and hey, can you watch for this? Then we can, allow that conversation. But do you guys know what I'm talking about when we try to go talk to a coach about something and they reverse it and now we're taking new complaints and now the conversation has left us there. It's in their hands now.
Yeah, 1,000%. Happens a lot.
Happens a lot.
Absolutely.
That's where we need that internal strength to not allow them to change the dialogue. We're in control of the dialogue. if we want. If we're not, they got it. They're going to take it, and we're going to be playing defense. You know, like, what, coach, I came over here as a courtesy. Like, I'm doing you a favor type stuff. So this is good. This is, we've been going on about 55 minutes. It's been really nice to have an interactive session. It's been nice to have you guys contribute to the podcast now. I don't know when this will come out, but looking forward to making this a new series, you know, exclusively on Clubhouse, a nice small group setting. Christian, anything else that's on your mind before we run?
Man, I got the notification late. I thought you just started, but I'll wait.
Yeah, it's very random.
Really
This is going to be a very random thing. So appreciate you guys being on the fly with me.
Yeah, just I just wanted to tell a story. The last game I ref, there was a little like it was kids, like a little rec league game, and I got to meet my first partner who was just combative in a way where, I mean, I don't know if he was older, a lot wiser, but it was hilarious. Every little thing. It was, for instance, as soon as he walked into the gym, he goes, "Stop bouncing your ball if you're not in the game."
He's a grouch.
Yeah, like the whole gym. You know, if you're a little 3-year-old, 4-year-old kid, "Stop bouncing your ball, sir, if you're not in this game."
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. It was, you know, I was like, man.
We know the vibes, though. We know where this is going.
Yeah, there was a few moments where the people at the table, they were, you know, probably they had their phones out, and he just said, "Excuse me, ladies, pay attention to the game. Get off your phones."
He's got a point, but he could have delivered it better.
Yep. And then there was a moment where I was in the lead, and a team was winning by like 15 points, and there was like 3 minutes left, and they had a big guy who was down there just getting some rebounds, second chance points, getting rebounds, and then throwing it up. He got fouled, but I was just gonna let that one slide because I'm kind of familiar with this league and these players. And from the trail, he called the foul, and then he said this under his breath. He goes, "Man, they're killing him down there, man. Call something." I was like, "Jeez, this is a tough ref." And then, you know, eventually I'm a good communicator, so I just walked up to him and I was like, "Hey man, how's it going today?" And hey man, I kind of, instead of saying like, you know, like, "Geez, are you crazy?" I kind of go, "Hey, I like some of your floor." I forgot what I said, but I was like, "Hey man, pretty good stuff. You know, how you doing? How you run the floor?" And he was like, "There's more to refereeing than coming out here and blowing the whistle. You have to have game management skills, and not only the players, but the table and the fans. I don't take no crap." I was like, I got to tell Paul this.
Sounds like he's got it all figured out.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It, though.
How did you guys have an interesting pregame? What'd you talk about in the pregame?
Our pregame, no, he was in a back room somewhere. I ended up awkwardly calling him, saying, "Are you here at the gym?" He said, "Yes, young man, I've been here."
Oh.
And I was like, "Well, the game's about to start in like 5 minutes. I've been here too." He came out of a locker room area. There was no pregame for him.
Right.
He was trying to get in and out, but it was just interesting, his mindset.
Uh-huh.
You know, I told him about possibility of doing JUCO ball down the line and going to some camps, and he kind of worked it, man. Driving 4 hours to a college, 4 hours total drive for $100. Is it really worth it, or do you want to just stay in the area and just get this money here?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow.
Sounds like he's trying to convince you to not do it.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm looking forward to probably getting better and doing JUCO, listening to all this stuff, the camps. He was like, "Really? You're only making $150 to drive 5 hours there and back? Is it worth it?"
Okay. Maybe because he failed at it and he didn't get hired 13 years ago, so he's a little bitter. I remember I was explaining that to a veteran once. I was getting ready to go go to camp. I was so excited to go to camp, trying out for college. And I was like, yeah, I'm really looking forward to trying out for college, going to camp. He's like, oh, it's so hard. He goes, oh, it's so hard to get in. He goes, yeah, it's going to be tough. You know, it was just very like what your partner was doing, trying to kill the dreams, right? And I remember thinking about that and kind of taking his word for it for a little bit, like, oh, I guess it is hard. I guess I can't do that. I guess I'm gonna struggle getting hired, all that stuff. You just got to block everything out. You know, like even sometimes when partners say things, you just got to do your best to listen and be kind and say, oh, all right, thank you, appreciate that. But in your head, you're just like, okay, discard that, delete.
Yep. That's what I did.
Good. Awesome. Well, this was fun. This is the first volume of our new show, Referee Radio, that you helped to create. So I appreciate it. I will let you know when volume 2 is ready for production. But thank you guys for joining me and have a wonderful rest of your night.
Yeah, thanks, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
Thanks.
Take care. Good night.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Crown Refs Podcast. Serve the game.